Did you know that there's always going to be a tension in your life when you're learning to walk in the kingdom of God? I'm going to tell you why here today on 5 Minute Mentoring. Well, hey, my friend, so glad that you're with me today here on 5 Minute Mentoring. You know, I've been finishing up a new book. It's in editing right now, actually, called God's Plan for Living. And one of the things that I'm talking about in there is how to walk successfully in the kingdom of God, how to know God's plan for your life, be able to confidently pursue it in everything that you're doing. And one of the things that I write a little bit about in there is this tension that we have all felt and that we're always going to feel between where we are now and where we feel like God is taking us to. Don't you wish that it was just easy, that God would just open the door and be like, hey, come on in, here it is, da-da-da-da-da, and we could just walk right in without any feeling of fear or nervousness or that sort of thing. But you know, we're humans. We have a flesh nature, a sin nature that still wants to come back and try to put its influence on and through our life. And as we're learning to walk by faith, it creates this tension in our life. And I've learned that trusting God in your life always requires that you risk the life that you know now in order to step into the life that He's promised. You know, I think about the disciples who were doing their thing, right? Who were out on the boats, who were fishing, who were probably loving life, who were, doing what fishermen do, throwing their nets and catching fish and selling fish and loving their families and all that sort of stuff. And in the middle of that, here comes Jesus, and Jesus walks up to him and it says, hey, leave your nets behind, come and follow me. And for all of us, when Jesus says that to us, whether it is for the first time when we come to salvation in Him, or when it's in those transitional moments when we're moving from the thing that we've been doing to the thing that He now has for us to do, it can be really difficult because your nets, just like the fishermen, those are the things that maybe that's been where your money's come from, where your provision comes from. That's how God's provided for you in this season of your life. Maybe there's some identity wrapped up in, hey, that's that guy that's a really great fisherman, or like me, when I left my studio in Asheville, hey, that's that guy that, man, he's one of the best basket makers in the country and he's so talented. I love that. Who doesn't love that, right? I always said, who doesn't love going to art shows to sit there for 4 days and tell people how talented you are? I mean, give me a break, right? We love that as artists. But there's identity that can be wrapped up in what we do. And when God asks us, out of His desire to bring us into the fullness of what He has for us, as He asks us to lay those things down and move into the new thing that He has for us, there can be tension. There can be this, I don't know if it's going to do. And what does the enemy do? The enemy comes in immediately and sows doubt and fear. Yeah, I don't know if you can trust God. Oh, that makes sense. Nobody else is doing that. Nobody else's life looks like that. Are you sure that's God? And all of that tension starts to be magnified in your life over and over and over. But the way to release that tension in your life is simply to give God your yes. Even when you don't understand it, even when it doesn't make sense, when you know that God has given you the green light in moving in a direction, it's no longer a risk in the fact that I'm going to lose, I could lose everything, all this kind of stuff. No, you're choosing to trust God and His promise more than the reality that you're walking in right now. Friend, as we start a brand new year here together, I hope that you are using that faith muscle inside of your life. I hope that you are ready to use your yes response to the Lord this year and step out into everything that He has for you. I love you, and remember that you were created to thrive in everything that God's got for you in the kingdom, in your spiritual life, in your business life, in your family life, in your relationships, and whatever it is that He's called you to do. Nothing is impossible for you when you say yes to Jesus. I love you, friend. Until next time, remember, you were created to thrive. Bye.